Excuse me?
Do you reuse them, or is it always single use?
No, that's it. One time.
Yeah, same for the spirals. One time and then in the garbage.
I like the flavor profile of the cubes better than the chips. It's just, maybe it's a personal preference, but that's what I like because I think that I mix the cubes around a little, and I think it gives it a little bit more complexity than just one type, where I could throw a couple cubes of Hungarian, a couple cubes of American, a couple cubes of French. I could vary the toasts if I want.
Yeah, I like that because it's, that's one of the things I like about cubes and or spirals or chips or whatever is that you do have the freedom to jump back and forth between different toasts and different oaks or whatever, and there's a lot more flexibility there. So yeah, that, and I just haven't coughed up for a barrel yet. So
yeah, I find that the care required for a barrel has always slowed me down.
Yeah.
The cost
there's a lot of care in the barrels.
Yeah.
And when they're empty, you got to keep them full. If they dry out, then you could have, the barrel could spoil and pick up something that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't just keep them full of water all the time because then something will grow in the water.
Well, you can put a storage solution in it, and I think it's like a teaspoon and a half of potassium metabisulfite. No, maybe a teaspoon of potassium metabisulfite and a teaspoon and a half of citric acid per gallon.
Okay.
Does that not extract what you're trying to get out of?
I use that as a storage solution, and I have it written down on all my barrels of exactly how much I have to put in if I use it as a storage solution, so I don't screw it up.
That's a really good plan. Does the storage solution end up pulling a lot of
vintage?
Does the storage solution end up pulling much of the oak flavor out of it?
I think if you left them in there long enough, it would. If you left your barrel with storage solution for 2 years in it, you could probably kiss the spirit goodbye that's in it.
Yeah.
And I think that, the barrel, would definitely pull some of the tannins out of the barrel, but do you really, do you want to open up your barrel and, scrape the inside with a wire brush to knock off some of the char and re-expose some wood? Or, I've know some people say you put chain in the barrel and you spin the barrel around and, you roll the barrel and the chain will, knock off some of the char and expose the wood again. Well, if you make enough mead, you can keep it full.
yeah.
A lofty goal.
Well,
A lofty goal.
That is the advantage of mead. That is the advantage of mead over wine. You don't have to stick to the vintage, so you can just leave it full all the time.
You mean grape wine? Because some of us make wines with things other than grapes.
Yeah.
And they still have seasons.
I don't think it matters.
Some of us have never made grape wine. Everything but.
Yeah.
I used Concord grapes once, and mostly wild grapes are the only fresh grapes I've used. Everything else has been from concentrate when it comes to grape wine. Because, they can do it way easier than I can.
Yeah, I got my grape juice from the pickings I got at one of the local U-Pick vineyards, and then bought a bladder full of some more juice, and it was, that was a Chamberlain. So I had Merlot juice that I bought and Chamberson grapes that I picked and had juiced and kept the skins. And I made a I was going to say a hydromel. Oh God, this is what happens when you spend 2 days hanging around at a meadery and you don't know where you are or what you're doing. I was chief bottle washer pretty much all afternoon today, so I'm whipped. Yeah, I had no idea it was so hard. I was like schlepping cases. No, I made a 2 grape juice piment, but that's as close as I'm kind of making a grape wine. And don't really plan to make a grape wine. The piment was fun, but yeah, I'll stick with fruits and spices and things like that.
Honey.
And yeah, honey. That's
when I was small, my family made wine in the basement, and all I remember is fruit flies everywhere.
Everywhere.
For about 4 days.
Yeah. Did your family use the balloons on the bottlenecks, or? Were they more formal about it?
No, I don't remember. I just remember one of my uncles giving me the spent grapes and telling me they're raisins and I should eat them, and I remember the fruit flies.
My dad would he would ferment right in the bottles that he was going to bottle in, and he'd just put balloons over the neck of the bottle. Yeah, and he just put balloons over the necks of the bottles. So I go downstairs and it's like all these partially inflated at varying levels balloons all over the place, just dozens of them. It was weird, and I didn't really think about it as having like an effect on when I started making mead until I stopped to think about it, because it didn't really occur to me. You know, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I've been around this stuff for a long time. But what is are the people that made wine in your family, Bobby? Are they are they still around? I mean, I don't know. Do you know, was your grandparents or what? Okay.
That was 40-something years ago.
Yeah.
They're all past.
Okay. It might be, interesting. My dad, he listens to me talk about the types of things that I've made, and he's like, that sounds weird for a lot of it, because it's not the sort of thing. Excuse me. I am overcome with a case of the yawns. I apologize. It just suddenly came out of nowhere. But, yeah, they just... He's like, well, okay, why are you doing that? And I'm going, because I like it and it's tasty. And I've had him try my meads, and he's like, blech, every single time. He does not like them.
I'm still trying to get my family to try kefir that I make.
Oh, kefir.
It's a sour milk ferment.
Yeah, I haven't made kefir. I love drinking kefir, but I've never made it. Do you have to buy like a starter for that, like you do with like kombucha? And stuff?
I got the starter.
Okay.
Yeah, well, kombucha, you just buy a bottle and you make your with however you want to do it, and it'll grow with SCOBY.
Yeah, very true. Had you thought about making like a? I know people who have tried like doing a sort of kefir-like mead, which it kind of puts you in the. They had a honey sour milk drink that the Mongolians used to make. I forget the name of it now.
I don't know, but I'd be interested in it. I'd try it.
Well,
how bad could it come out?
Milk meads were a thing about 15 years ago or so. There was this huge talk all over the various, mead making groups and email lists and whatnot, that of people making milk meads. And it was a thing, trying to come up with something that tasted good, which was very difficult, as it turns out.
It must have been a passing fad, because I don't hear anybody talking about it now.
It still comes up periodically in the Gotmead forums, but lately it's not been a topic of conversation that's popular. Just like there for a while, everybody was making... Yeah. For a while there, everybody was making chocolate mead, too, and it was like, everybody's making chocolate mead, and nobody can make a good chocolate mead.
Well, that's because we did a group brew.
Yeah, well,
I got a
chocolate group brew. And then everybody else came on the forum like a year later and said, hey, a chocolate group brew, I should try making a chocolate something, too. Yeah. I don't know what everyone else is talking about. Mine turned out fantastic. Chocolate pear. I just had to make sure. I really had to make sure I backsweened it properly, though, because the cocoa was too bitter without any backsweetening.
How about a chocolate
I did a chocolate chili pepper a while ago.
Ooh, that sounds yummy. So it'd be like Aztec chocolate mead. Interesting.
Oh God, I hate you. I want that. Oh.
Right. What kind of peppers did you use?
I want to say I used Serrano.
Okay.
Serrano and ancho.
Okay, and are you using nibs or cocoa, or what's your poison with chocolate?
I use cocoa.
Yeah.
Well, now I do cocoa, I use nibs, and I use vanilla if I want chocolate.
Yeah.
I think it adds more complexity. I think the nibs really help out in the nose. I think the cocoa goes in the taste. The nibs help that taste, give that dark chocolate taste, and a little vanilla to balance it out.
Yeah. I think vanilla is a good... vanilla adds a lot to a lot of different things. Caramel, you almost got to have vanilla with it, too, because it just, like you say, it adds complexity.
Yeah. I think vanilla goes great in strawberry mead, too, and I don't think anybody ever picks it up.
What, vanilla and strawberry meads?
Yep. Just a little touch. Makes the strawberries pop.
Yeah, I would. And nobody ever figures out that you're putting vanilla in there?
I never heard anybody ever say, "Oh, great strawberries." Nobody ever mentions vanilla.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, it's one of those It's one of those background flavors that amps everything else up.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, unless it's the only thing there, people are not going to taste the vanilla. But, like, just about every sweet recipe I make, I put vanilla in it. I'd probably notice it if it wasn't there, but it's certainly not going to be the first thing you pick out.
Yeah. Well, I jump up when I do a meadow foam traditional. I jump it up by adding some vanilla because I think it just it backstops it and I think showcases it more.
I could see that.
Sorry.
Well, you got.
I just found.
You just found what?
I just found that the funniest thing when I was experimenting with vanilla and oak was that I got more of a vanilla flavor from oak than I did from vanilla.
That's interesting.
Well, I think sometimes it's the quality of the beans you use too, and there's so many beans. There's so much out there now. You can get Mexican beans, you can get Hawaiian beans, Madagascar beans.
Yeah, and it's really limited around where I am unless I order online. I got some nice ones from a fellow Gotmeader who went and anybody who wanted some, he brought some home and then mailed them to us when he got home.
Oh, nice.
So I still have a couple of those left. Yeah, they were like shrink wrapped.
Perfect.
Or, cryo packed. So they're that the cubby they're in still smells like vanilla, but and it's just I found that oak leaves more of a vanilla flavor than the vanilla does. I know I can't tell you what toast level it was and exactly what kind of oak it was I was using at the time because it was whatever I happened to have in the wine kit, and I didn't actually record what it was when I was doing my experiments with it, which I really should have.
Yeah, what part of you didn't take notes? Were you not listening to that part of the?
Well, that particular one was I try to isolate tasting because I don't have a very educated palate. So what I did was I made a base batch of wine with like just sugar water, so there was nothing going on with it, and I added excess tannin to one, excess acid to another, oak to one, vanilla to one, and I can't remember what else I did, but I just wanted to be able to taste them all at the same time. Unfortunately, a couple of the batches went bad because I was not following sanitary technique, so I didn't really get the information I was looking for out of it.
Sorry, I keep having to switch my mic off because my brain is going, yawn now! It's like, stop! Oh my god!
Is that that's the thump we're hearing?
No, it might be, that might be, when I turn my mic off, it might be thumping.
Yeah, a little bit. So have you done a lot of stuff with peppers then, Bob?
Yeah, I have a lot of peppers. I have some Carolina Reaper mead in the basement. I have bubblegum pepper in the basement.
Bubblegum pepper?
Ghost peppers I have a lot. I have a pineapple ghost now. I have some regular ghost. I have peach ghost and chocolate ghost peppers in my freezer that I'm planning on doing this year. I did 7-pot tuberos. I did scorpion peppers.
I've always wondered if those different peach or whatever ghost peppers, does it really matter? The ghost pepper being whatever 700,000 Scoville units or whatever it is.
No, that's
it's all about pounds.
Yeah.
No, some of them are hotter. The ghost pepper, some of them are over 1 million, but there's such a variable in all organics that really every time you make a batch you have to balance it out. And I don't want to make something where everybody feels like they have lava face for an hour.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I want something where it's spicy. There's that heat level. It's balanced. For 30 seconds you go, wow, that's hot. And then all of a sudden, it fades away nice and has that little lingering taste. And to me, that's a great capsule. I don't want to have something that shit, there goes my palate for the rest of the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be hot enough where you experience the heat and good enough where